All right. Okay, everyone. So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Feet about our hips width apart and shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just lengthen the spine. And then try and align your ears with the shoulders. And then just go to the crown of the head and just soften the scalp, the forehead, the eyes and nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the back of the head, back of the neck. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat, the chest, and the belly, and all of your limbs. And then notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Maybe it's moving. You can notice the warmth as you breathe out, as you exhale, and then slightly cooler air as you inhale. And then notice maybe just you have these little hairs inside our nostrils, so you might feel your breath very gently floating through there. And maybe there are some sounds in your environment. So just allow those sounds to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. And then notice the thoughts that might be arising. So maybe try not to judge or criticize. Like sometimes we think things and it's like, oh, I shouldn't be thinking like that. I'm Buddhist. I should be thinking differently. Well, no, you're just thinking the way you are, and it's okay. And you're showing up tonight just however it is you're showing up, and that's it. That's enough. Don't have to be anything else. Just see what's there, though, without judgment, without criticism. Because when you know what's arising in the mind, you can just do something about it. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be any more of a story than just noticing what's there, and you just look at it with curiosity. Oh, gosh, there's some anger or resentment, or there's some happiness. That's curious. And then bring to mind some people of your life, the ones you really love, and the strangers, and then there's those people who you don't like so much. Imagine those friend, the enemy, and the stranger, they can all change place at any time. And they're all equal in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So think, we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our lives and for those of you who have family members or friends, loved ones who might need this practice this evening. Just imagine that they be here with you and for all of us as we're moving along our spiritual path. So think there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind so we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. We know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we have come to the power of reliance, and we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us. We're wanting to use his methods as kind of like medicine to purify ourselves. So we're not looking for like a higher power or anything like that. We're just looking for Vajrasattva. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, facing the same way as you. You can also imagine this is your teacher, the mind of your teacher manifesting in this Vajrasattva form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you, and just have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you will result as suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of the remedy. And this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida me boa, sitokaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, anarakta me boa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satva a humpe, and vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita, dida me boa, sitokaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, anarakta me boa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satva a humpe vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa anurakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forces up through the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows maybe quite forcefully and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satva a humpe vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa anurakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satva A Humpe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satva A Humpe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida me boa, sitokaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, anarakta me boa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible that you could do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And the next is a purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very happily, very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on a switch, the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So just imagine the same happens here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and bitterness and grudges and resentment, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly dispelled as we recite again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And imagine this time Vajrasattva very happily sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve and the fourth and final step in the purification process. So you may have had some things coming up this week. And maybe, they come up really powerfully one day, and then by the end of the week, you're just like, what was I so upset about? So really, really good to remember that all of these things that come up in our mind, all of these things that feel so important at the time, that's so kind of distressing at the time, they pass. And there's this thing called impermanence. Thank goodness for impermanence. So the trick is to try and not react when you're in the moment. So maybe, think of something that you'd like to work on. Maybe reactivity is one of those things. And it's not just reactivity to what's being said to you, like you verbally respond, you react, but it's how you respond to yourself, being reactive to yourself. So maybe try and think about calming that down a little bit. It could be, make a vow to yourself, like I said, I'm not going to do this for 3 seconds or 5 minutes or 1 minute. And this determination, this aspiration that we can generate to not harm, to refrain from harming, becomes like this kind of beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new and different directions. So, we may have some habits that we can't commit to not doing. You might have an addiction to sugar, for example, coffee. It may not be super good for you, but perhaps the thing to do would be just to not lie to ourselves, like, oh, I'm never going to have sugar again. Perhaps just sort of say, I'm going to think about refraining from sugar for a day, or even half a day, or even 5 minutes. So this determination to sort of think about refraining from, or even trying to not do again, gives us a kind of it's a guardrail, gives us determination and some strength to change. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us. And wanting to merge with your mind, he melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness. And you can think, in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, you can just place your mind there for a moment. I think all phenomena are dependent arisings. All phenomena, they don't exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me, the way I look at things, the way I cognize things, it may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all this positive energy that we've created this evening to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then we think, make strong wishes for His Holiness Dalai Lama to live long and to be able to continue to teach and be healthy and happy, and for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation. And then for all of our own individual teachers who take so much care in guiding us. And yeah, so just like that, may they live long. All right, everybody, good night. I'll see you tomorrow morning for our Medicine Buddha meditation.